Okay, let's get this party started. So I've got about 8 cups of water, and I'm going to put in about 5 to 6 tablespoons of salt just to make a salt water mixture. This is going to be our bath for our eggplant. Going to get this out of the way, and then I have 2 medium eggplants that I'm going to cut into sections. So first of all, I'm going to trim off the ends, the stem piece of it, the tops, and then I'm also going to trim off the far end, the butt, as I like to call it. And then I'm going to get these cut into about 1/2-inch sections. It's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be perfect. It's okay. They're going into a casserole. They don't have to be perfect. So anyway, I'm going to cut these into about 1/2-inch sections. You don't want them really too much smaller than that, or too much thinner than that, I should say, because you want them to be able to have a little bit of body and hold up to being both fried and baked. So you don't want them to be too thin, because then they'll basically just disintegrate and then it becomes a mess. So I'm going to, like I said, get these cut up about 1/2-inch sections, and then we're going to get them over into their saltwater bath. Eggplants have a little bit of a funky bitter taste, and so you need to soak these for about 30 minutes in a saltwater bath to draw out that bitterness. It doesn't put any salt into the eggplant. It just draws out, and you'll see once I show you in the next clip where it draws out a brown liquid out of it, and that's that funky bitter taste. So we're going to get these over into our saltwater bath. And yes, I'm taking my time. And then I'm just going to kind of pluck these apart. Going to kind of get them divided, because ultimately I'm going to put a plate on top of this to kind of keep them submerged for the 30 minutes that they're going to have to soak, because I want to make sure that everybody stays underwater. So our eggplant has been soaking for about 1/2 hour. So I'm going to show you guys here. I put this plate on top here to hold the eggplants down into the salt water. But I want to show you, if you can see, I'm just going to kind of show you. See the color of that water against that white plate? That's what came out of that. So I'm going to rinse. I'm going to drain these and then rinse this now. And then I'm going to get this onto a sheet to dry this out. Okay, so now that I've got my eggplant, I've got it rinsed, and I've got it, drained and rinsed. I'm going to go ahead and lay these out, and then I'm going to kind of let the paper towels dry off any excess moisture. And if you're thinking that, oh my goodness, I soaked these in salt water for 1/2 hour, they're going to be so salty. They're actually not salty at all. All it does is just draw out that funky liquid, that funky bitter liquid. So that's really all we were getting rid of. So we're still going to season these with a little bit of salt and pepper. And that's it. So as we're patting these dry, we're just going to kind of flip them over a little bit. I've got a few other ones I've got to dry out here. So like I said, we're just flipping them over, patting them dry a little bit. And then we're going to lay them out and season them. Alrighty, we're back. We are going to lightly salt just one side of our eggplant, just a little bit. Then we're going to put a little bit of pepper on it. Not a whole lot, just a little. I'm not going to do both sides because I don't want it to be too salty. And like I said, we're not worrying about the salt water bath that it took, because it didn't absorb like literally any of the salt. So we're going to go ahead and get these battered now. Okay, so now we have our flour, and we're going to put just a little bit of salt into our flour. Kind of mix this up just a smidge. And then we're going to scramble. I've got 4 eggs here. You know, if you need more, if you need less, we don't really know until we've got all these dudes covered. So we're going to start out with 4 here. I think that should be plenty for the couple of eggplants that I've got cut up. Okay, so we are now going to go ahead and get these dudes coated. I'm going to go ahead and coat this on both sides. Then I'm going to dip it into the egg mixture here. And then I've got oil heating up here, so I'm going to go ahead and get that right on into the pan. Alrighty, so we're going to drop some of these dudes into the oil. So like I said, I'm coating them in flour. A little bit of flour, a little bit of egg, and then you drop them in. And we're going to keep doing this until we've got all of these done. And then we're going to flip them when they're brown, when they start to brown on one side. We're going to go ahead and get these flipped over now. So this is what we're working with. In just a few minutes, as soon as they brown up a little bit on the other side, we're going to pull these off and drain these on a paper towel on the pan right here. And then we're going to go ahead and put together our cheeses and all of that other fun stuff. So hold tight. Alrighty, I cut out the middleman here. So this is the last batch of the eggplant. I didn't make you guys watch me fry all of it because, you know how I am, and I'd have just been like, look here, let me fast forward through this. So anyway, I'm just flipping the last of these over. So you can see that they're golden brown now. We're just, and you know, you're not necessarily waiting for the eggplant to cook all the way through. We just want the egg to cook on the outside with the flour because we're still going to pop this into the oven. Okay, we're going to take the rest of these guys out, put them on our tray to drain. And then we're going to get them dressed and ready to go into the oven. And a casserole dish. And don't stack them. I've got 2 layers here on this pan, but I've got thick paper towels in between so that if they drain to the paper towel. So we're going to go ahead and get these dressed to go into our casserole. So the cheeses that I'm using tonight are a mozzarella and provolone cheese mix, but you can certainly use, you know, sliced mozzarella, sliced provolone. And I'm also using this shredded Parmesan, Romano, and Asiago cheese mixture here. So let's get started. So first we're going to put in some sauce on the bottom. A little bit of sauce on the bottom just so that our stuff doesn't stick. There we go. And then we're just going to start layering now. So I'm going to use my bigger pieces first. Just going to lay them in there. And then once I've got my bigger pieces in there and I can kind of see what I'm working with, then I'm going to kind of use my smaller pieces to kind of fill in the gaps. as best I can. You know, like I said, this is going to be layered, so it's cool if things don't go exactly to plan. So like, you know, kind of like a jigsaw puzzle, putting this thing together. And let's see if this dude will fit up here in the corner. Yep, there we go. So that's our first layer. So now we're going to put on our mozzarella cheese. Now we're going to put on our other shredded cheese here. Then we're going to put a little bit of sauce in between. And I'm going to actually reverse this for the top layer because I want there to be cheese on the top layer. So I'm going to show you what I'm going to do. See that? Now let's start putting our other large pieces here. There we go. Turn into a thing of beauty, folks. All right, so now I'm going to put a little bit of sauce on top of this because like I said, the top layer, I want it to be cheese. There we go. I'm going to put the rest of our cheese here on top. Well, not the rest of it, but we're going to cover this in cheese. Here we go. Make sure that it's covered evenly. There's that. And then we're going to shake some more of our Asiago mixture on here. The Parmesan, Romano. There we go. So now we're just going to cover this with foil and then pop this into the oven on 400 for roughly about 25 to 30 minutes, just until our cheese gets bubbly. Here we are at the end of the road. This is our finished product. I just pulled this out of the oven. So let's cut into this guy. You know, I need a light, man. This is, my editing skills need work. So, you know, we're just going to ride this one out. So there's that. So now I want to scoop this out. So let's hope for the best, folks. It's always a wing and a prayer. Ooh, ooh, oh yes, oh yes. This is everything. Look at all that cheese. Woo-wee. It's a thing of beauty. Oh, I want to come off of there. Okay. So this is our eggplant parmesan. So I'm going to make this all pretty and then I'll be back. I had to just show you how cheesy this is from another angle, so that you can kind of get an idea of what this looks like, because it's pretty amazing. Guys, so much for joining me again with Dinner with Spice, and I hope that you've enjoyed this recipe and give this a go. It's an amazing recipe. If you're looking for the sauce recipe, it'll be in another video. But thank you again, and please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. See you in the next video.